Hey, thanks for tuning in. My name is Vashlos, if you didn't already know, and today I want to give you guys an update about my Ephemeral Edgelord Trickster for cheap, or at least it used to be cheap. I've gotten really lucky on some of my gear crafting. I don't know if you're going to have the same success, so, progress with that idea in mind. But I've changed a bunch of unique items. I'm going to make you new recommendations for what to put in your sockets. As instead of flame wall, tornado, and I think I was also recommending you to do like a frenzy charge setup with charged traps or charged mines. Those are great for leveling, but yeah, once you've got your character a little more figured out, I would like to recommend you auras. Auras seems like the solid way forward. And just to go over the auras that I'm using real quickly: Determination, Grace, Purity of Elements, Discipline, Tempest Shield, Purity of Ice, and I think that's it. I'm also using Vol Haste, but I don't know. I'm not really confident about including that yet in case I want a 2-link or a 3-link somewhere. So Vol Ice is on thin ice. We're not sure about that one. But as for everything else, it's quite a conversation as well. I would love to talk to you about it. First, Voice of the Storm. We're anointing champion of the cause because we need all of the reservation efficiency we can possibly get. Because right now, I don't have level 4 Enlightens yet. Once I pick up a level 4 Enlighten, that will allow me to drop Thrill of the Battle and the mastery that I pick up from it, and I can spend those points elsewhere. Oh, you can also see that I've picked up a Intuitive Leap to save 2 additional passive points. We're using the Magnate to save 3 passive points. I know I said that I wanted to move away from the Magnate. Nah, nope, go back. Save 3 passive points. You care very much about having those 3 passive points instead of just additional energy shield on the top. I mean, I've almost got 10,000 energy shield. I don't think I'm really struggling for that being like the center point of my character. The rings. Chevron's Revelation. If we put it in the left ring slot, we get a lot of energy shield, a lot of intelligence. It's corruptible. I recommend you do that. But it means that we don't really fully benefit from Spellbreaker anymore. So I moved that over towards Swift Killer. We also got rid of One Step Ahead and put it into Polymath. The reason why I'm able to do this is because of that. Do you see it? 22% spell suppression. I got really lucky. I fractured it, and then I crafted it with Essences of Loathing for the mana reservation efficiency. I exalted twice for 2 tier 1 energy shield modifiers. I was rather happy, but the mana I am not confident in annulling off, at least yet, until I have like something else I can move forward with. For the helmet, Essences of Loathing, aim for big energy shield. Boots, all I did was, I think, Dense Fossils. I think I used Dense Fossils here, along with some movement speed fossils. So I did 2 fossils, one for defense modifiers and then one for speed modifiers. And that's how I got these. They're really not anything special. I'm pretty sure on one of the implicits I want 1% max all cold elemental resistances. The gloves, all I did was Essences of Loathing and then craft on the focus modifier. If you don't want to use the focus modifier, I would recommend something that Sharko recommended me, which is the Leech. Increased damage while leeching. And let's go over something else that Sharko recommended me, which is why we're using Aegis Aurora instead of Peripetea. As you can see at the bottom, recover energy shield equal to 2% of armor when you block. And before, I was all up in Cluster Jewel's guts, right? Like, I had 4 Cluster Jewels, 2 large with 8 passives, and then 2 large with 12 passives. It took up every single passive point that we could possibly have. And it really wasn't working all that great. We had a lot of energy shield, but that's it. And upon listening to Sharko and what they were doing with their character, I thought, you know what, that sounds like a really great idea, which was block, as well as the main thing that sold me, Iron Reflexes. Instead of having no physical damage mitigation, I take all of the evasion that I've gained through this mastery, 1% increased evasion rating per 5 intelligence, and I turn it into armor. And in doing so, alongside Determination and Grace, I have about 80,000 armor. That's going to go up. That will go up, especially once we get our Mage Blood. And that's kind of the goal. Magnate, I'm using this probably until I get my Mage Blood. And that will allow me to streamline a lot of things, especially Balbala. Once I get my Mage Blood, I can get rid of my Brutal Restraint. That's +1 Jewel Socket, and then I don't have to use the Ghost Shroud Keystone. So that'll feel really nice. What else have I not talked to you about? I talked to you about Chevron's Revelation, I talked to you about Magnet, talked about Voice of the Storm. I can't remember if I recommended Fury Valve, so if you can't afford Voice of the Storm, I would highly recommend Fury Valve. It's cheap, gives you everything you care about, and it helps your clear. Not sure about the single target. The 2 projectiles is certainly nothing to sneeze at, but it felt better than Blightwell. So be sure to give Fury Valve a chance if you don't have 3 Divine Orbs or so to purchase Voice of the Storm yet. Because that's how much I bought mine for. It was like 3 Divine Orbs. The shield, it was like 40 Chaos. The ring with 15% mana reservation efficiency. That's the only thing you care about on this, by the way. 15% mana reservation efficiency. It's like 80 Chaos. That's all it cost me. You probably don't want negative resistances either. And I think that does it. Because we're not using Storm Shroud anymore, we changed our Flask suffix away from chance to avoid being shocked over to increased armor. And then, since we're not using Zealot's Oath anymore, and we are using Ghost Reaver, I changed another Flask suffix over to 15% of damage taken from hits is leached as life. The passive tree changes are pretty substantial. It's pretty different. You're going to want to pick up this Armor Mastery. Recover 5% of energy shield over 1 second when you take physical damage. It's really, really nice, super powerful. It's almost like the whole reason as to why we're traveling over there. For now, I am using a Replica Reckless Defense to round out my block chance. I'll show you. I've got 65, 65 with that in, and then I have 65, 48 without it. Eventually, we're not going to need this anymore. This is just a placeholder. We will shed it eventually. But it helps us out quite a lot in the meantime. And I still need to figure out what I want to put in this jewel socket right here. Probably a Light from Within, or whatever that Affliction Jewel is called. And I think that's the update. Until you get your tattoos, I'd recommend Entrench, as that will be much more efficient than pathing towards Instinct. I would also recommend going with Lucky Spell Suppression. I'm going to get somewhere around 85 to like 90% Spell Suppression, and then I'm going to go with Lucky Spell Suppression. And I'm going to call it a day. I don't really need to have 100% Spell Suppression chance, especially if I've got Lucky. And usually the rule of thumb I go for that is like as long as I'm above 75% chance, there's almost no way that I'm not suppressing spell damage. So I'm going to go with a bunch of tattoos that will help me get rid of Entrench eventually. But on the way there, yeah, pick this up. Super convenient. I have no idea why I was pathing with these 2 points up there instead of down here. It's just better being down here. I don't need anything up here. I mean, unless you care about additional mark effect, or if you plan on going like Inextricable Fate and pick up like Poison Chance and stuff. That could be pretty cool, by the way. I've been thinking about that. If instead of Warlock Boots, you could like get out of weapon elemental damage and then put those points towards like Swift Venoms or Toxic Strikes or what's the one up here? Fatal Toxins. I think that'd be really cool. The problem is I have no idea how you would get enough damage over time multiplier, or if it would even feel good. I've never played an Inextricable Fate build, and I certainly haven't played an Inextricable Fate build on Ephemeral Edgelord Trickster that I have designed to be inverting elemental resistances. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys. I hope that clarifies a lot of what I've been doing on the character. Everything else, not all too much different. I don't think I explicitly went over the support gems again, but just so you know, because we're not using Call of the Brotherhood, because we aren't using Trinity, that means we got to change one of the support gems. Damage on full life is that change. So instead of Trinity support, just swap out for damage on full life. Because we're Chaos Inoculation, we will always be full life. If you don't want to always be on full life, say you want to be like a magic finder and use some like wonder traps, If you're comfortable figuring out your flasks or you have a mage blood already, then you can use a cow. Oh wait, sorry, you can't use two belts. If you don't have a mage blood and you've figured out your flasks in another way, then you can use a coward's legacy to make sure that you're always at low life. Comes with the downside, you're cursed with vulnerability, but you know that's a fun and easy way to fit in a metric ton of increased rarity in the build. All right. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing I wanted to give you guys an update on or have a quick digression over. And that's the update. Thanks for tuning in. The next update is going to be about in-game jewels, hitting 90% max all elemental resistances, and then hopefully having a mage blood. I'm going to do my best to have one drop. I really don't like that a lot of people have offered me one as a handout. I feel like that would just like steal all of the joys. Like this isn't even mine. I didn't get to experience what it felt like when it dropped or like the purchase or the grind of getting all those divine orbs. So no handouts, no mage blood handouts. If you give me one, it's gonna rot in the stash or I'll delete it. So if you want me to do either of those things, sure, hand it on over and I'll do it on stream. As far as everything else, I have planned though. I have something I'm really excited to bring to your guys' attention. It's going to be my next build playthrough, and it's not just going to be my build playthrough, it will be our build playthrough. No, not yours, but Abby and I's. I have talked to her about a Link Guardian playthrough, and she said that it sounds kind of fun. So, super excited. I hope she's excited as I am, as I've never done anything like this build before where you're using Link skills to deal damage. We're both the same ascendancy as Guardian, and it's just going to be a totally new experience for the both of us. She's still a rather new player. I'm going to be able to help her, and then, yeah, we'll get to go at our own pace. It'll be a blast. I hope you'll tune in. Now for another update, an IRL update. Abby and I got a cat. His name is Link. He's 26 pounds and a little overweight, but we're going to get him back on the way to a healthy life. And I thought that this was important enough to warrant telling you guys about. I'll put a little picture of him on the screen. And if you want any more pictures, you'll have to join the Discord, because I'm sure there's going to be more in the future. He's a really cute guy. He's an absolute teddy bear. All right. I think that's everything. Thanks for tuning in. You guys have no idea how much it actually means to me in the channel. Every like, comment, view, subscribe, follow, they all go a very long way here. Across different platforms, you're helping keep me above water. So hats off to you. Thank you very much. It seems like a simple action, right? You're just pressing a button at the end of the day, but really, you're helping make my day every time it happens. So thank you very much. Welcome to the community. I hope I'll see you again. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out.